Alright, everybody, the moon is getting bigger. It's been growing, and it's not stopping. And I don't know when it will stop, or if it will ever stop, or how long it's been growing for. But I know it's been getting bigger. I've been doing so many calculations over the past weeks and months, and it is irrefutable. Look at this one right here. This is how big the moon used to be, and this marks how big it was at the start. This is how big it is now. That's how big it will be in 10 weeks. All right. This one here represents how big it was in relation to the planetary bodies last year. This is how big it will be compared to other planetary bodies such as Mars, Neptune, and the Earth. Not next year, but next week. All right. It is getting bigger, and it's getting bigger even more rapidly and faster and faster. It's growing at an exponential rate. And if we don't do something about it or start preparing for whatever will come from it soon, I don't even want to think about that. All right. So there's also beyond the calculations, there's so many signs that point to the fact that everything is moon related. All right, since the ancient times, gods like Khonshu, Artemis, were related to the moon. People idolize the moon so much. The number two, famously related to the moon, because the moon is the second heavenly body in the sky, second to the sun. Nowadays, the moon is like worshipped not as much. There's other things that we worship, right? But the moon still comes up so much in pop culture and in our everyday lives, right? So the blood moon, that happens when the earth passes in front of because you have to be naked for the rapture. All right, it's obvious, it's in plain sight, and they're still telling us that the moon isn't growing. But look at these measurements. Look how obvious it is. Do you think it's a coincidence that Tide Pods were fed to our children? Do you think that's a coincidence? I don't think so. But I'm gonna now talk about some the consequences of the moon getting bigger. All right, tides. That's a big one. All right, the moon causes tides as it circles the earth, right? With tides, I'm gonna veer off course for a second. Tides, tide pods, right? This is another way, they're kind of, the people in power are kind of subliminally, kind of toying with us a little bit. They're tides, what do tides make? Water, right? But also tides cause tide pods. Remember 10 years ago when the kids were eating Tide Pods all like crazy and they were dying? And that's awful, that's terrible. But it's the people in power who were sending the little subliminal message that said, eat the Tide Pods. All right? It's the people who don't want us to know that the moon is getting bigger, who are trying to silence those who do. Kids are always notice the moon is getting bigger before adults do. Kids are always so much more susceptible to that. You know how kids see ghosts all the time? Kids notice that the moon is getting bigger. I'm gonna shelf that topic for the time being. Back to how bigger tides mean more sea urchins. Do you guys know what sea urchins do? They eat kelp. Kelp is so important for so many things. Without kelp, the planet would fall apart. So would the moon. It would do the same if the moon got too big. But you guys remember what happened when we lost the sea otters? 100 years ago. So many